Hi friends, hope you all are enjoying my channel. The most glorious thing of my channel is that it has been accredited one of the best channel in Turkey. This information has been conveyed to me by one of my Turkish friend who just has gone through the channel and said it has been vastly viewed in Turkey. He offered me one very strange and famous story of Turkey to narrate on this channel. This is Kara Mustafa the Hero title story. I am narrating the basic of that story beforehand rather than in the end. Theme of that. Let me tell you, fear is a part of life. It happens in everybody's life. But sometimes we make fear our habit. And fear becomes so dominant that it becomes difficult for us to live without that. The biggest reason for fear is lack of confidence or fear when we do something new. When we do something new outside our comfortable realm, we are afraid, but the only way to eradicate fear is that do the work you are afraid of. Do the work you are afraid of. You can eliminate fear only by facing fear. हिंदी में डर के आगे जीत है. Now this story says, let us make a small start. You will see that your life is changing. There is a quite old saying, don't die while hiding your inner strength. This has been taken from Isaac Kunos, who is a Hungarian linguist, Turkologist, folklorist, mostly known for his works on Turkish folklore. The most significant his accomplishment was that he collected a great number of folk tales and anecdotes that were published in many more European languages. Kara Mustafa the Real Hero is a Turkish folk tale collected by Isaac Kunos and included in his 44 Turkish folk fairy tales. Now what this narrative says, this is regarding a married couple and which has a very quiet strangeness. The husband was so cowardice that not for a cup of tea in China he would leave his home without his spouse. You see, it's quite a reverse. The husband so cowardice that not for a cup of tea in China he would leave his home without his spouse. What happened afterward? The wise friends, however, offered a solution to this problem. The wife should leave her husband alone in the street after dark. You see, what is the solution? When he is so cowardice, her friends suggested her to leave her husband alone in the dark, and that would cure him definitely. Now, my friends, will it really help? This is how I am going to narrate the story. Quite astonishing to all of us. The story starts here. Once there was a woman who had a husband who was so timid that he never dared to go out all alone. On one fair occasion, the woman was invited to a party by her friends, and as she was about to set out, her husband implored her to make haste back, as he would be forced to remain in the house until her return. She promised to do so, and had hardly been with her friends half an hour when she got up to take leave. Why must you go home so soon? Asked her host. She answered that her husband was at home waiting for her. Why does he wait? They asked. He dared not go out without me. was the reply. See, what was the reply? He dared not go out without me. This is quite strange, observed the woman, and prevailed upon her to remain a little longer. They advised her, next time she went out with her husband after dark, she should slip away from him. You see what the advice the friend suggested to her. Next time when she went out with her husband after dark, means in the night, she should slip away from him and leave him all alone in the darkness. By that means he would be totally cured. Now the quite strange thing is that, will it be cured or will he die? The story narrates in a very different way. This woman followed this advice, and on her first opportunity that offered, she left her husband alone in the darkness. The man cried out in the terror until at last he fell asleep, where he kept waiting. At daybreak he awoke and went angrily into the house. Among his possessions was a rusty old knife bequeathed him by his father. He took it up, and by cleaning it uttered a resolution not to live with his wife anymore. He accordingly set out and came to a place where honey has been split, on which a swarm of flies were regaling themselves. Drawing his knife across the sticky mass, he found that he had killed 60 of his flies. He drew it across a second time and counted 70 victims. This is a quite strange story. Now he again drew it across a second time, I am repeating this line, and counted 70 victims. Immediately he went to a cutler and ordered him to engrave on the knife, at a single stroke, Kara Mustafa, the great hero, the real hero, has killed 60, and at the second stroke 70. The inscription finished. The knife was returned to the owner, who went with this knife away, kept in his pocket. Then he came to a wilderness, and when night fell, he lay down and slept, sinking his knife into the earth. Now in this locality dwelt 40 Jews, one of whom took an early walk every morning. The Jew saw the sleeping man and his knife, and as he read the inscription upon the letter, he was seized with terror, seeing that Mustafa, now waking up, the Jew, with a view to appeasing his redoubtable person, begged him to join his brother's company. Who are you? Asked the hero. We are reduced to the number of 40, and if you will deign with to join us, we shall be 41. I am willing, said Mustafa. Go and tell the others. Hearing this, the Jew hastened to his fellows and said, my brothers, a hero desires to join us. His immense strength may be gathered from the inscription on his knife. At a single stroke, Kara Mustafa, the great hero, the real hero, has killed 60, and at the second stroke 70. Let us put everything in order, or he will be here directly. But the Jews hastened to meet Mustafa, who, when he saw them, felt his courage sink. However, he managed to address them. God great you comrades, he exclaimed. The Jews modestly returned his greetings and offered him a place among them. By and by he inquired, is there among you any fellow like me? The Jews assured him that there was not. Thus satisfied, Mustafa proceeded, because if so, let him step forth and try his strength with me. Where shall his equal be found? Exclaimed the Jews as they walked home. The Jews were obliged to carry their water from a long distance, and this duty was performed in turn by each of their number. Being of gigantic stature and strength, they were of course able to carry a quantity impossible for a mere mortal. On the following day, one of the Jews accosted Mustafa. "It is your turn to fetch the water now. And we are sorry to say the well is far away." Being afraid of the hero, Jews naturally addressed him somewhat apologetically. Mustafa reflected and then asked for a very big rope. It was given him, and he proceeded with it to that well. The Jews, full of curiosity to know what he intended to do with the rope, looked on from a distance. See, this is quite interesting thing what he did with the rope. It will really mesmerize you if you view it. Keep you smiling. The Jews, full of curiosity to know what he intended to do with the rope, looked on from a distance and saw him attach it to the stonework of the well. Astonished, they ran up and shouted to him to know what he was about. They ran up and shouted to him to know what he was about. "Oh," he answered, "I am only going to put the well on my back and bring it home." See the strength this coward man has shown. He answered, "I am only going to put the well on my back and bring it home, so that none of us need go so far for water again." They begged him for Allah's sake to desist, and he promised to do so on the understanding that they would not trouble him again with the duty of water carrying. This is how he dared and escaped narrowly. A few days afterward, it was Mustafa's turn to fetch wood from the forest. See, it won't leave you without laughing. Again he asked for the rope and went. The Jews hid themselves and watched him. On the edge of forest they saw him drive a peg into the ground and fix the rope, which he then drew around the trees. By chance the wind rose and shook the trees to and fro. "What are you doing, Mustafa?" shouted one of the Jews. "Oh, I am only going to take home the forest all at once instead of a piecemeal to save trouble." See how strangely he answered. "I am going to take home the forest all at once instead of piecemeal to save trouble." "Don't shake the trees," cried all the Jews. "You will destroy the whole forest. We would rather fetch the wood ourselves." The Jews were now more afraid of Mustafa than ever, and they called a council to deliberate on the best means of getting rid of their formidable associate. It was eventually decided to pour boiling water upon him during the night while he slept, and thus kill him. Fortunately for himself, however, Mustafa overheard the conversation and prepared accordingly. When evening came, he went to bed as usual. The Jews heated the water and poured it through the roof of his dwelling. But Mustafa had laid a bolster in the place where he should have been. On the bolster he had placed his face, and he had drawn up at the bed cover. When he betook himself to a corner of the room, where he lay down and slept soundly out of harm's way. When the morning broke, the Jews came in the belief that he was dead and knocked at the door. "Who is there?" came a voice from the inside. The astonished and affrighted Jews called to him to get up, as it was already nearly midday. "It was very hot last night," he observed. "I lay bathed in perspiration." The astonishing of Jews that boiling water had no further effect upon him than to make him perspire may be imagined. The Jews next resolved to drop 40 iron balls upon Mustafa while he slept. Those would surely kill him. This plan also our hero overheard. When bedtime came, he entered his room and arranged the bolster as before, putting his face upon it and drawing up the cover, after which he retired to his corner to await developments. The Jews mounted the roof and lifting some of the tiles, looking down upon him what happened to be their sleeping companion. Look, there is his chest and there is his head, they whispered, and third came the balls one after the other. Next morning the Jews went to Mustafa's house and knocked at the door. This time no answer came, and they began to congratulate themselves that the hero would trouble them no more. But as a measure of precaution, they knocked again and also uttered loud shouts. Then they found the rejoicing had been premature, for Mustafa's wives were held. I could not sleep last night, for the mice gambolling over me. Let me rest a little longer. The Jews were now nearly crazy. What manner of man this man is, who thought heavily iron was our mice. This is the same cowed person who was taken out of his home in the dark. Few days afterwards, the Jew said to Mustafa, in the adjoining country we have a Jew brother. Will you fight a duel with him? Mustafa inquired whether the Jew were a strong fellow. Very, was the reply. Then he may come. In saying this, however, our hero was ready to die of fright. When the gigantic Jew appeared on the scene, he proposed to preface the duel by wrestling bout. This being agreed to, they repaired to the field. The Jew caught Mustafa by the throat and held him such a mighty grasp that his eyes started from their sockets. What are you staring at? Demanded the Jew, as he relaxed his grip on Mustafa's neck. Now see the strength, the line, what Mustafa replied. I was looking to see how high I should have to throw you, so that all your limbs would be broken by your fall. This hero answered in well simulated contempt. Hearing this, all the Jews fell upon their knees before him and begged him to spare their brother. Mustafa accordingly graciously pardoned his adversary, and Jews further entreated him to accept a large number of gold pieces and go home. Secretly rejoicing, he accepted the proffered money and expressed his willingness to go. Taking a cordial farewell of them all, he set out in company of a Jew who had been deputed to act as his escort. When he arrived in the sight of his home, Mustafa saw his wife looking out of the window, and as her gaze rested upon him, she cried, "Here comes my coward of a husband with a Jew." What she said? "Here comes my coward of a husband with a Jew." Mustafa made a sign to her behind the Jew's back to say nothing, then began to run towards the house. "Where are you going in such a hurry?" demanded the Jew. "Into the house to get a bow and arrow to shoot you," was the answer of a flying hero. On hearing this, the Jew made off back again to rejoice his brothers. Mustafa had hardly time to rest in his home when news was brought of a fierce bear that was playing havoc in the district. Now see, here comes the real story. Whatever has happened in the past for human beings, you can make them fear, you can test them, you can do whatever you with your brain and everything. Now what to do with that fear? Bear doesn't have brain, and you have to encounter that bear. The inhabitants went to the Wali and begged him to order the hero to slay the deep predator. He has already encountered 40 duels, they said. It is a pity that the bear should kill so many more people. The wali sent for Mustafa and informed him that it was unseemly that the people should be terrorized by a bear while the province held such a valorous man as himself. Then Mustafa spoke, "Show me the place where the bear is. Let 40 horsemen go with me." Now see, quite courageously, he said, "Show me the place where the bear is. Let 40 horsemen go with me." His request was granted. Mustafa went into the stable, took a handful of small pebbles, and flung them among the horses. The creatures, all with the exception of one, began to rear. This Mustafa himself took that particular horse. When the horsemen saw what he did, they remarked to the wali, "Well, it's quite interesting what he is doing." They remarked to the wali that this man is mad, and they were not disposed of to help him to hunt the bear. The wali advised them, "As soon as you hear the bear, go away and leave him to do what he will." So the cavalcade set out, where presently they came to bear hiding place. The mounted escort left our hero in the lurch and rode back. Mustafa spurred his steed, but the animal would not move, and the bear came at him with ungainly strides. Seeing a tree close at hand, Mustafa, our hero, sprang onto the back of his horse and clutched at overhanging branches and pulled himself up. The bear came underneath the tree and was preparing to ascend when Mustafa, letting go on his head, alighted on his back and boxed Bruin's ear so severely that he set off in the direction the horsemen had taken. Catching sight of them, he yelled, "Kara Mustafa, the real hero, is coming. Kara Mustafa, the hero is coming." Whereon they all wheeled around and, understanding the situation, dispatched the bear with their lances. After this, the fame of Kara Mustafa spread so far and wide, the wali conferred upon him various marks of honor, and this Mustafa enjoyed the respect of their neighbor to his long life's end. This is how dearly he overcome the fear. When he understood that his own wife intentionally left him in the dark, now this is what he was basically hanging. He knows what to do, and he overcame, moved a step ahead, and this is how he overcame the entire fear and became a valorous man. This story is quite prominent and well known in your country. I know very well. This Turkish man really made me feel delighted, and I really applaud for him thousands of times for sharing the story. Hope everyone who listens to the story has enjoyed it, and moreover, this story can be narrated to our children also, who will definitely overcome the fear and do what this Mustafa had done with his quite strange and brain. If you have any suggestions to just narrate on my channel, all are welcome, and this type of sharing from my friends across the other countries are welcome, and I do feel pleased to just share these stories. On my channel, I have shared stories of real hero, and apart from that, a story offered by one of my friends in Russia who just came across through this channel only, and my friend from Hyderabad, and many more like that. I really appreciate that they are listening my stories and getting motivation and inspiration after listening these. Hope you all enjoyed the story, and be courageous as Mustafa had done. I will keep on sharing stories like this to make you feel delighted and get motivation, either by way of motivational story or spiritual story of our country. I am open to share all stories from whosoever gathered. Once I, after reading this story, feels that this is a shareable, narratable by me, I shall definitely be delighted to share and offer this. Keep enjoying and suggesting me whenever you feel good. And one more request, this is the first time I am making to you. If you like my story, you should definitely subscribe my channel for further stories and press the bell icon also, so that whenever I upload a video, that can be shared to all of you. Thanks a lot for listening to the story. Offer my best wishes to all of you for your life and overcome the all situations as Kara Mustafa had done. Bye bye.